Today's article was submitted by Simon Benson, a longtime patron of mine, so thank you to Simon for finding this article. The article is entitled, "I Tried to Give Up Men for a Month," and it was written by Allison Stevenson, who writes for Vice. So let's get started here. One of the many consequences, she says, of being so public about my love life is the high amount of unsolicited dating advice I get from friends, acquaintances, strangers, and even some men who've been inside me. Some of the advice is downright infuriating, like when people urge me to settle for someone I clearly have no chemistry with simply because they like me. She's lying through her teeth when she says settle. No one is advising this chick to settle. The feminist relationship anthem is never settle, which we know to mean never settle down, which means sleep around until you have to settle down because you're no longer getting offers from high-value men. People lie all the time when they talk about this stuff. My teacher told me I'd never amount to anything. Nobody has ever said that to anybody ever. Seriously? Mr. Reynolds said to you, "Billy, you'll never amount to anything," or "Billy, you're nothing and won't do anything with your life." That's nothing more than manufactured motivation, and to be fair, we all have to do it. But let's stop lying about it. Nobody told this girl to settle. She's just using it as an excuse to continue sleeping around, as all women do. However, she continues, the piece of advice that's offered the most is that I should just stop trying. It's been the plot of countless romantic comedies, and many of my friends in loving relationships tell me it happened to them. We found each other when we weren't looking. And there is your biggest problem right there, sweetie. Before I give Miss Stevenson the raw and honest truth about her flawed thinking, let me remind you that Womanese Volume 2 will be released 2 weeks from Friday. Understanding what women are really saying and what their true intentions are is critical to any man looking to avoid disaster with women. 99% of men who fail with women have no idea how to translate a woman's covert communication, which means they're unable to read between the lines and figure out whether or not he's being lied to, being told the truth, or being told she's stepping out on him or about to step out on him. Stop getting blindsided by women and get your hands on Womanese Volume 2. And remember, when you get Womanese Volume 2, you get Womanese 101 and Womanese Volume 3 absolutely free. Plus, you get lifetime access to my Sunday webinars where I coach and consult men. If you want to be notified the minute it's released and get the early bird bonus material that I'll be announcing next week, text DAWN to 474747, or you can subscribe to my newsletter if you live outside of the US. Okay, let's get back to this dumpster fire. Allison, I've got news for you. Life ain't the movie, sweetheart. The friends it happened to got lucky. It's not because of a movie plot. The sooner women stop using movies and celebrities and TV shows to measure the success of their relationships, the better off they'll be. Now, to her credit, when she says we weren't looking for a relationship, it does apply more often than not. I wasn't looking for a relationship when I met my girlfriend, but here we are. So I will give her credit there. But not looking doesn't mean you sleep around with no intention of settling down. No, it means closing your legs until you meet someone who's worth a damn. So I'll give her a half-point deduction for not telling us what she really means here. My love life, she continues, is full of trying. I'm on multiple dating apps, perpetually on blind dates, and go out multiple nights a week in hopes of maybe talking to a stranger who won't murder me. Well, there's another problem right there, sweetie. We all know dating apps are full of people who are just looking to hook up. They shouldn't even be called dating apps. They should just be called hookup apps. Girls are always talking about just here to make friends, no hookups, or I created this account because my friends told me to, knowing full well they're there for the D, just like everybody else. Virtue signaling is a telltale sign of a woman who wants her cake and eat it too. She wants to engage in irresponsible behavior under the guise of dating. Newsflash, a string of one-night stands isn't dating around. It's having sex with random men every night. Period. She continues. And yet, I have not managed to date anyone for longer than a few months, if that. Even worse, we live in an age where a young woman admitting she would like to be in love is viewed as many by corny and tragic. Translation, I've been sleeping around and have several friends with benefits arrangements with 11 different men. Listen here, ladies. Friends with benefit arrangements aren't dating multiple men. It's having sex with men with no intention of getting serious. Just own who you are already and call yourself a garden tool. Well, I'm sick of playing it cool, she continues. I want the schmaltzy romance that's been rammed down my throat by movies, TV, and books since I was old enough to process information. Again, that schmaltzy romance doesn't exist. I'm here to tell you, relationships are work. They're not serendipitous. They're not fate. It's work, and a lot of it. Girls like this think that good relationships should just happen, and that's why they whip out their phones and start swiping at the first sign of trouble. No wonder none of her relationships lasted more than a few months. That's what's wrong with most girls these days. So I decided to put myself on a man fast, she continues. 1 entire month of no internet dating, no one-night stands, no romantic encounters of any kind unless it's with someone who genuinely seems interested in marrying me, giving me babies, and sticking around to stroke my hair while I finally succumb to aging-associated diseases. Here's how it went. Take a look at your screen, guys. A woman who looks like this is putting herself on a man fast, which means she can get sausage anytime she wants. This chick is below average looking, clearly overweight, and has a look of entitlement written all over her face. Yet, she's telling us that she's going on a man fast. A lot of guys will say, dude, this is so unfair. Below average looking guys would never get this much action from women, and they would be right. But like I've always said, the dating market doesn't care about what's fair and what's not. There's no need to moan and groan about fairness. That is a feminine trait. Let females whine about fairness. First thing I had to do, she starts, was delete the dating apps I was on. Tinder, Bumble, which is preppy Tinder, Happen, beta Tinder, Field, threesome Tinder, and OkCupid, original Tinder, all gone. Guys are always shocked when they meet a girl on Tinder, then find out she's also on Match, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, OkCupid, Christian Mingle, and Farmers Only. Not to mention Ashley Madison. My consultation clients are always hitting me with, OMG, Donovan, why is she on all of these dating apps? My answer? They're women. They want a lot of easy sex, and the more apps they're on, the more D they can get. This woman is no different. If a girl is on one dating app, she's on all of them. That's how it goes. The second step, she continues, was deleting the phone numbers of the men I have on call in case of a horniness emergency. Understand this, guys. For every girl you have in your phone who would come over and have sex with you in 4 texts or less, those girls have 20 guys who are ready to do the same. If she's actually attractive, the ratio is probably closer to 40 to 1. I mean, look at this girl. This chick isn't even close to attractive. Again, she's overweight, she's got a plain face, short hair, fat fingers, and is not good looking, and she has a list of emergency contacts that she can call in case of a horniness emergency. This is how easy sleeping around is for women. This chick is fat and ugly, and she's got a roster. If she has a roster, then every girl has one. Never forget that. After going through my phone, she continues, and getting rid of them, the third and final step was to delete the phone number of a skateboarder I've been crushing on for months who may or may not have a girlfriend. This cleansing felt just like I feel after an STI check comes back negative. I'm a virgin again, she exclaims. I was now a blank slate wiped clean of the D of my past and was ready for my man fast. Well, there's proof of pre-selection with the skateboarder. This is obvious. She knows he's got a girlfriend, and that's why she wants him. Being away from the apps, she continues, made me realize how much of my life is dedicated to swiping. I thought I wasn't doing it that much, but the reality is I just made the act of swiping such a regular part of my daily routine that it stopped feeling like it was a lot. Is that sad? Don't answer that. I think I know the answer. Guys, swiping is part of a woman's daily routine. I'd even go as far as to say that at least half the time a girl is on her phone in public, she's swiping for the D. I don't have any studies or numbers, but call it a hunch. Thinking that I should probably put some effort into manifesting the meet cute of my dreams, I decided to put more thought into my daytime appearance, she says. Daytime me is typically a lot less put together than nighttime me, who is usually trying to get laid. My typical daytime outfit is leggings or jeans and an oversized t-shirt. I almost never wear makeup or even brush my hair. That changed this week. Every morning of this week, she continues, I put thought into my outfits. I worked on some foundation to my face, brushed my hair, and almost exclusively wore dresses, tapping into the most cliche image of femininity possible. I switched up my routine too, finding new places to write and get a cup of coffee, as well as new shops to run errands at. Again, nothing happened. Gentlemen, this is the answer to the question, why are girls so misbehaved these days? This girl wears leggings or jeans, an oversized t-shirt, almost never wears makeup, and almost never brushes her hair. And she's got a list of men who will come over and blow her back out at a moment's notice. Girls don't even have to try to get validation, and they still get it. Look at this girl. Again, she's not even close to attractive, and she's got more men available to her than a man who has himself together has women available to him, and he dominates life. And we wonder why hot girls are vapid, impossible to be around, and as dumb as a kitchen table. The reason is that even ugly fat girls get attention. Well, one thing did happen, she continues. At night, I went out for some drinks with a friend and happened to meet someone I have mutual friends with. He's older than me, a heavily tattooed single dad who lives alone and reeks of emotional unavailability. After flirting for some time, it was pretty obvious we wanted to hook up, but I stopped myself from giving in to the temptation, knowing full well that it would just be a F for the sake of F and nothing else. Any other month, that would not have been an issue for me at all. But this was my man fast month and I had to stick to it. So once again, this guy she's interested in has all kinds of markers of attraction. He's older, he's heavily tattooed, and he's a single dad. His age just means he's more attractive and has himself together. Heavily tattooed is self-explanatory. He looks like a bad boy. Single dad means he is sexually pre-selected. He had so much sex with women, they allowed him to impregnate them. One look at this guy, and this girl wanted to be under him. This is female nature in a nutshell. We did exchange numbers, though, she continues. I secretly hoped we could engage in some light flirting, which I admit I kind of felt like I needed in order to get me through the rest of the month. I figured if he initiates it, then I could go along with it. Predictably, she continues, he never initiated anything. Do I really have to do all the work here? This is the consequence of the hashtag #AlsoMe era. This is the consequence of the era of the false rape accusation. This is the consequence of yes means yes. This chick wrote another article entitled "Choking Me During Sex Without Consent is Assault." Just like when I talked about in my Sheryl Sandberg video, what did you expect to happen? Dudes are losing their jobs, getting arrested because a woman says he sexually assaulted her, losing their college degrees despite the fact that you have the entire encounter on video, and this chick has the gall to ask, do I really have to do all the work here? Well, the answer is yes. You do have to do all the work. You cannot expect men to be assertive if you think a man doing something to you during sex you didn't verbally and enthusiastically consent to is assault. You can't expect a man to be assertive in this day and age with all of the hashtags and the damage that causes men. This is what you've created, ladies. You have criminalized male desire to the point where men aren't going to pursue unless pursued. And even then, we still know we're taking a risk. You made your bed, ladies. Now you gotta lay in it. I'll be honest, she continues. I really dropped the ball this week. I drunkenly re-downloaded Tinder and messaged the skateboarder whose number I'd previously deleted. Luckily, all I said in my drunken state was, hey, which obviously he didn't respond to for 12 hours. I didn't keep the conversation going with him and didn't initiate any conversation with my new Tinder matches. The man fast was still on. I went back to being unkempt daytime me, realizing that putting effort into my outward appearance was a form of trying and was too outside of my character. I love how females always remove the act of free will from their decisions and blame their bad decisions on everyone and everything but themselves. She was honest when she said, okay, I dropped the ball. But then she said drunkenly downloaded Tinder, as if the alcohol told her to do it. No, she's a banana gobbler with banana gobbler tendencies, which means she needs constant validation. Again, Miss Stevenson, just own who you are. I did go out drinking again this week, she continues, and was surprised to find myself being hit on once more. This time by a 23-year-old Dodger fan wearing a bandana and talking to me about his startup. He was not even close to being my type, she says. Normally, I would end the conversation as quickly as possible and call it a night. However, thinking back on the rom-coms in my memory bank, I figured this could potentially play out as one of those opposites attract scenarios where I become the manic pixie dream girl who introduces him to the world of art and punk rock while he teaches me the value of saving money and caring about my future. Nothing about our love makes sense, yet somehow it works. She continues, I decided to go ahead and give him my number, which is when I realized there might actually be something to not putting effort into dating. I'd been approached twice during my experiment, which hadn't happened to me for quite some time before the man fast. The rest of the week went by, she says. He never texted. Before this man fast, I would have eventually just sent the first text. However, purposely making myself not do so had put my love life into perspective. Like, damn, I really do have to put effort into bringing men into my life. Men who are most likely not that interested in me. At least, not enough to really make some moves. Here she goes with the rom-com comparisons again. When are women going to understand that they're not Katherine Heigl and dudes aren't Gerard Butler? When are they going to figure out that they ain't Kate Beckinsale who just happened to run into John Cusack? Her little fantasy is just that, a fantasy. The only difference is that her meet cute isn't going to take her seriously because A, she's a hoe, and B, she's overweight. She needs to watch a few more rom-coms because apparently she still hasn't figured out that in none of these movies, the female actress is plus size. Meg Ryan wasn't overweight when she met Harry. Jennifer Lawrence wasn't overweight in Silver Linings Playbook. Eva Mendes was thin and beautiful in Hitch. Her rom-com fantasy is never going to happen anyway, but if she wants her Bradley Cooper or John Cusack, she needs to drop the weight, make moves. This is her coming to the realization that men only want her for sex and not for relationships. It'll be a few more years before she realizes that sexual interest does not equal commitment interest. Week 4. All right, I'll be honest, she says. I effed the single dad. It was all me, too. I made it happen. In my defense, I hadn't had sex in several months, and the man fast served as a constant reminder of that. I didn't have the distractions I normally have, like dates and light internet flirting. My horny levels were reaching a tipping point, my vibrator lost half of its original strength, I keep forgetting to buy it new batteries, and I just needed some D. I'd also thought to myself that maybe, just maybe, I was wrong about this guy being emotionally unavailable. Maybe this could actually be the start of a relationship. But then the night we hooked up, we got to talking about exes and past loves. He mentioned a woman he recently got dumped by, whom he would get back into a relationship with immediately if she texted him. So yeah, my initial assessment was right. It was a pretty good F after all. Wanting sex doesn't make a girl an eggplant enthusiast. Not showing discipline and temperance does. Every girl gets horny. It's a natural part of life. Girls who don't sleep around are doing what's very difficult to do. It is very difficult not to yield to temptation when you want the D. But unfortunately, most girls don't exercise discipline, which is why most girls are cucumber connoisseurs. We also just caught her in a lie. She said I hadn't had sex in several months, but she said she was starting her man fast for a month. All girls lie, gentlemen. She just needed the D, but again, she tried to blame it on I hadn't had sex in several months. No, baby girl, the day you started your man fast, you got banged out by somebody the night before. Blaming your lack of discipline on I hadn't had sex in several months is flat out lying. Girls do this all the time when trying to explain away promiscuous behavior. Well, I hadn't had sex in several months. My toy ran out of batteries. I just got over a bad breakup. I was lonely. Sweetie, just say you were horny and decided to be a hoe instead of exercising temperance and leave it at that. We all know why you banged the single dad. You don't have to virtue signal with us. To conclude, she continues, I guess technically this man fast was unsuccessful on account of me not actually abstaining from men, but I'm still taking away some valuable lessons from it. I know now that I should continue going down this path, if not trying so hard, but will also keep my Tinder account active, putting me on a much happier medium. If something happens, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. As much as I'd like to have the barf bag love I see in movies, I can't keep trying to force it to happen with men who are not worthy of my time or attention. None of us should. Stop trying hard, but also keep my Tinder account active. Translation, I'm going to keep doing what I was doing before because taking pride in my personal appearance and abstaining from easy sex with random men is difficult. There was no lesson here, gentlemen. The lesson she learned is that trying wasn't worth it to her. This is why girls are petri dishes. They never do what's hard. It's hard to dress well and put makeup on and do your hair to get noticed by the right guys. It's hard to put effort into your dating life so that you can start attracting men of quality instead of tatted up single dads with BPD exes and hipster Dodger fans who wear bandanas in public. There is no happy medium for this girl. She's back to status quo, which is sleeping around without much effort. Then she says, if something happens, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. These are the musings of a woman who doesn't realize that she'll be miserable when she can't sleep around anymore. She's okay with nothing happening because she thinks she'll have a steady stream of dudes at the ready all the time. Now, to some degree she will, but the dudes will not be the ones she wants. Then she'll be writing articles asking, where have all the good men gone? Like every other internet hoe masquerading as a blogger. Then finally she says, I can't keep trying to force it to happen with men who are not worthy of my time and attention. Are you serious with this? Again, guys, look at your screen. Look at this girl. This chick is an overweight 3, and she has the gall to say men who are not worthy of my time and attention? This woman is either delusional or she realizes that she's never going to lock down a man of value. So instead of taking rejection like a woman and improving herself, she's using the you can't fire me because I quit routine to keep her from getting depressed about being a fat 38-year-old with no man. The fact that this overweight, unattractive female decided to go on a man fast and failed at it proves how abundant casual sex is to every woman. If any man watching this is dating even a half-decent looking woman, you need to understand one thing. She is sleeping with other men. Don't give me this, well, she would never. She would and she is. Never, ever forget that. It blows me away that a female who looks like this can get so much sausage thrown at her that she felt the need to go on a man fast. Knowing what we know about women, it wouldn't surprise me, but there's always something that happens that causes me to say just when I thought it couldn't get any worse. So guys, do you think this woman is delusional, clueless, or flat out oblivious about the fact that girls who look and act like her hit the attraction wall faster than those who don't? And ladies, are you ever going to stop swiping for D on Tinder? Let me know in the comments below. And for less than the cost of a gym membership, you can watch my live streams Tuesday through Saturday afternoons where I talk about, discuss, and break down articles just like this and much more. You will also have access to talk to me every Saturday afternoons where I answer questions and give advice. The link is in the description.